Hi guys, so today I am doing Toca Touring Car Championship from 1997. That is the initial game. The sequel was Toca 2. I have already reviewed Toca 2 on this channel, and I thought, why not review where it all started. Again, this is a Codemasters game, and it features all the usual tin top racing action. If we read from the back, it says, with all real cars, real drivers, real teams, and real championship tracks, experience the white-knuckle drive of the official Touring Car Championship. It's the greatest, most closely fought contact racing motorsport game ever, featuring Silverstone, Donington Park, Thruxton, Brands Hatch, Alton Park, Croft, Knockhill and Snetterton. Yep, 3-day landscape data from the Ordnance Survey. I'd forgotten that, but yeah, that is true. Drive all the official cars of the season. Yeah, they're all accurate. Yep. So it's pretty much similar to Toca 2. There's just one or two differences. Firstly, the graphics are a little bit weaker. The damage is a little bit weaker, but not much. I mean, graphically and damage wise, both games are fairly similar. If you've played any of these games before, and I know a lot of people will, you will know that both games are pretty strong. One of the main differences in this game is that you get a time period and 12 laps to qualify, whereas in the Toca 2 you get Super Pole, which is just one lap. I actually remember Alan Menu complaining about that. He won the championship in '97 driving the Williams Renault, which was actually developed and built by mechanics from the Williams Renault F1 team, and they hammered everyone in '97. The Audis probably could have beaten them, but they had some sort of restriction because they were four-wheel drive. They were just winning everything. I thought that was unfair. I actually quite liked the Audis, and I think they were hobbled, but whatever. Let's move on to the game. I actually am aware of the all the fanfare because I'm a fan of the sport. So the AI is really good. It's always seems to be the AI is pretty good on Codemasters games. They can act. They're not all the same, and more importantly, I mean, they will shove you off big time. You've got the likes of John Bincliffe and Kelvin Burt, who, I don't know, in real life they're both kind of aggressive guys, but yeah, basically I've been pit maneuvered by a Volvo many a time, which is good because, you know, this is so ahead of its time. The AI is actually dead good, you know what I mean? So and sometimes, you know, obviously it's fun to just spin other drivers off. You wouldn't do that, or you're not supposed to if you're playing online, but if you're playing against AI, I don't think there's any harm in driving into the side panel of one of your opponents for an unscheduled pit stop. It's all part of the fun, including, of course, retirements. If you can actually, or if a compute player actually lands on his roof, he's out of the race. For some reason, if you land on your roof, it actually auto-writes you, which is kind of handy, I guess. The damage model's good, again, ahead of its time. I keep saying it, but it's true. Very good damage model for the time. You can crumple the front, the back, you can lose the bumpers. If you've been in a real tussle, your car will show it. It'll have nice sort of dirt and cracks and bumps and things, and it's even so detailed that if you drive it into a wall enough times, you will actually be able to retire the car, which is probably at this period, '97. I wouldn't be surprised after Grand Prix 2 if that was one of the first ever race sims to do that. You know, you get this standard now, but it's pretty good for the time. So one of the good things, I guess, is the qualifying is more detailed. It's not just super pole, so you can do as many laps as you want. more or less. I mean, you get plenty of time in laps. I'm not mixed feelings about this. Sometimes I just can't be bothered with qualifying and just go straight to the race. But if you like to start from high up the grid, you probably prefer this version. Toca 2 has bonus cars and tracks. Actually, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, of course it does. Yeah, it does have. Toca 2's got quite a few more vehicles other than touring cars that you can drive. But Toca 1 does have 2 unlockables. One's a pink Cadillac, which is quite nice to look at, but really a bit shit on the track. But the big one, and for me, one of the best unlockable things on a PlayStation back in there, is a tank. The tank. Well, it looks more like an armored car, but like a tank, it has a big 88 gun mounted on the top. Not 88, it wouldn't be that high. But anyway, yeah. So you can shoot the cannon, and this, I have to say, it's one of the best cheat codes / unlockables I've ever seen on a game. It's hilarious. The tank, you can basically drive around and blow your opponents really high up in the air. Sometimes they go over the hills and far away, or perhaps a bit like when Team Rocket used to blast off every single time. A bit of nostalgia there for you. I was never a massive Pokemon fan, but I did get a bit geeked on it with my little brother at the time. Yeah, one of the things that isn't quite so good for me, that's better on Toca 2, the feature race, which I find more fun because you can wait and see how your opponents pit. Again, the AI good here on Toca 2. I'm talking, you can pit, you can see what happens at the end of the pit stops. You know, it can really shake up the game and make it a really nice sort of longer race absorbing period. In this one, it's just basically 2 races, same amount of laps, and Donington GP maybe has like 15, but basically, yeah, quite a few laps for a championship really, when you consider there's 2 races. But I suppose it adds longevity to the game and it does make it interesting. I just miss the pit stops. I think the pit stops on Toca 2 were top banana basically. So the frame rate of this game isn't always great. If you play on the PlayStation, it can be pretty laggy. First played this on Windows 95 way back when, and it was really laggy back then. But I have to say, if you play it on an emulator or on a really good computer, you probably shouldn't have too many problems. The problems will come with the installation. You need to get patches and all sorts. But no, if you run it on a good computer, you get it running properly now on emulator. You know, you can run the PlayStation version on emulator, it'll be very smooth, good graphics. So it's not so much a problem. But the original PlayStation, the original Windows 95, yeah, very choppy frame rate, which was actually improved in Toca 2 as well. One thing else I noticed, which is a bit, yeah, when you finish a race, normally if you're in a battle and you just edge over the line ahead of one of your opponents, then you read the times. Sometimes you'll win the race by half a second, and then it'll say +8 or something to the guy behind. I guess it could be that they get penalties, because you can get penalties if you drive into the back of people long enough, but I actually think that for some reason they haven't really bothered programming the exact race times. Also, in qualifying, no matter how good lap you do, there seems to be something hard-coded in there that makes sure that the AI will come back with something pretty tasty themselves, which can be a bit of a pain if you actually want to try and qualify on pole. But overall, man, this is a great game, great AI, great racing experience. It's always worth a try because, like, you know, I wasn't as familiar with the drivers, the teams. They haven't changed a great deal, just a little bit, but it's, you know, this really was the golden age for touring cars, and it's well worth playing this. I would definitely say Toca 2, I wouldn't say was a different game really. It just takes what was here and built on it, but then again you get no tank on Toca 2, so you know, very good game. I think if we take into account age and so on and so forth, I still think it's very strong. I think I'll give it an 8.5. If I gave Toca 2 9, I think this one's 8.5. Yeah, very good game. You like this kind of thing, you like touring cars, you like the old Super Tourers, golden age of touring cars, you're going to have fun here. Good crashes, you know, good AI. The AI are not shrinking violets, they will actually barge you just like you know, they give as good as they get. So anyway, yeah, good game. Thank you Codemasters, and if they're bringing out another one soon, legends, straight legends. Anyway guys, cheers to it.